But so right now, like the season of life that I'm in is trying to learn about this gift
I
that
love
God has
that.
given me.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a gift. Oh my God, it's a gift.
Hmm.
And so many people don't understand it.
Yeah. And that's something that I've been
Oh my God,
asking.
it's a gift. My mind was just blown. It's a gift.
Yeah.
Kingdom and the gift of ADHD. That's going to be the
Hmm.
title. Welcome back to Voice the Kingdom. I'm your host, Natalia Teixeira. And today we are here with a very special guest, my dear friend from a long time, Virginia Zulato. And we are in Dallas, Texas. And
Yes.
it's an honor to be here with you. I wanted you for a long time. When Voice the Kingdom first happened, when Voice the Kingdom was first created, you were one of the first people that I thought about. Like, God, I would just love to get her on it and talk and pick her brain. And because this is something I always imagined you doing. And we already started. As you can feel, the Holy Spirit already started here flowing.
She sees in me more than I see in myself. She's talking me up, and I'm like, Lord,
There is
what a
so
responsibility.
much for this woman to pour. And I think that a lot of the times we want it all figured out.
Yeah.
And this is a conversation we had off camera. And we don't have it all figured out. And I think that this is part of Voice the Kingdom, is to expose that we're not perfect. We don't have it all figured out. And we are walking with Christ, trying to figure out and trying to be better. And I think that really does distinguish us. I asked the Lord that the other day. I said, what distinguishes me? And I read a passage. I'm going to have to go back here and find it. Um, I want to say, Mark. I want to say the Gospel of Mark. No, it was Moses. Exodus. He goes when the Lord was furious. One of the many times the Lord was furious. Moses asks the Lord, and I thought that was so bold. He goes, what will distinguish us from the others? If you destroy us, what, and if your presence doesn't go with us, what distinguishes us? And that really hit me. Like, I've heard this many times, and I started asking the Lord, what distinguishes me from others? I know he has many children. The Lord has many, many children, and we are disciples to make more. But I wanted to be distinguished in a way, and I feel that when I look at your life. And I know you don't, but I do. And the conversation today is going to be a very interesting one, which I don't think we talk a lot about. So you've been vocal, very slightly, but vocal about your ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very common conversation when we're talking about kids, preschool, middle school. Oh, he has ADHD, but I don't think it's a conversation in adult Christian women, mother, wife, pastor. And I think that's a conversation that is lacking and that needs to be had.
Right.
And mostly about the vulnerabilities and the struggles with it, and how you do life, and how sometimes you hold a burden, guilt, and maybe even shame, if I can say that.
Yeah.
And I know that you haven't fully used your social media to the capacity that you should. Hear the Holy Spirit speaking again. And I know you're going to get there.
Yeah.
We're walking towards that. But you did share something the other day, which was very quick, where you asked your public, your audience, a question about certain medication or certain,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what it was, to deal with that. So, to make sense to people who are going to watch this, let's go back. Let's go back to before you were married,
Mm-hmm.
and before you became a mother, and
Mm-hmm.
before you got into ministry, and discovering that. When did you first think there's something wrong with me, for lack of better words?
Um, it's funny to like call it normal because the times that I've said this to people, they're like, nobody's normal.
Yeah, you
But
said that to
like,
me the other day in
yeah,
the car. She's like, well, I'm not normal. I'm like, what does that mean?
yeah. Um, but although everyone has struggles, it's a fact that people with ADHD, they struggle a little differently.
Because, as you're saying, I'm like diagnosing myself here, and I'm really going to go check
No,
in.
girl, believe me, you do not have ADHD. But like pretty much my entire life, I thought I was like everyone else. But at the same time, I had to put a lot of effort into living a normal life, like starting and finishing a task, like being organized and just like keeping up with regular day to day tasks that felt a lot more consuming than they normally would to somebody else. Um, but I don't know. That's how I'd always been. So I just thought
That was
it was
normal.
normal. And then mind you, I was an only child. I am an only child. Um, so I always had my alone time. Like I always had time to kind of like breathe, recover, kind of,
But you didn't even know that's what you were doing.
No.
You were just living.
Yeah, I was just living. Um, but then I got married, and that whole process, so we dated a little short of 2 years long distance, but the time from when we got engaged to got married was really fast. It was like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And because he lived in Brazil, um, his ministry was going really well. He was traveling the country, preaching and singing and everything. And I felt the Lord saying that it was time for me to give up my like the things that I love, like the great job that I had, my church, my relationships, the country and the city that I've known all my life. Um, to be able to sow into his ministry and what he was living in that moment. So instead of him transitioning to the US, I was going to transition to Brazil.
Wow.
Which didn't, it hurt, but because my family's from Brazil, I knew I wouldn't be like alone. I already knew Brazil because I would go a lot for summer breaks. Didn't feel
foreign,
too hard or
right.
foreign, right? It still hurt because I left people I love, like you,
me,
Jackie. Yeah. That was really hard. I remember to this day I was sitting in the airplane and I was bawling my eyes out, and I just took a picture of me bawling and I sent it to Jackie and she sent me one back, and it was just like we're just like both bawling. But a lot of things shifted really fast. So I got engaged. 3 months later, I was married. A week later, I was landing in Brazil, going to live with a man who I had only had a relationship with long distance. And my mother was now living 40 minutes away from me because she moved back from Brazil. My parents were divorced. What was she going to do alone? Right. In this new house with none of my things because they were on like a container and they were only going to be there, whatever, months later. And I come from a lot of moves. I think I've moved before I got married. I had already moved, I don't know, like 7 or 8 times with my parents growing up.
Oh, wow.
So moving wasn't something that I loved. Never has been. I don't really like change.
Really?
Yeah. So the Lord led me through and just like this process of adaptation alone is a whole nother conversation. So we're not going to go there, but I went through this journey and I ended up starting to speak to like a psychologist and a psychiatrist. And during these talks.
But did you start that conversation? And I know I'm going to have to help you
Yeah,
sometimes remind you of the
Mhm.
question. Did the psychologist and psychiatrist, because you felt that this was a big move, or you felt like there was something wrong that shifted? Because I know
No.
sometimes we only seek those things when we feel something's wrong, which shouldn't be the case.
Mm-hmm. No, at that point, I hadn't thought anything. Like, I was still in that phase where, like, this is just who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was just what really comes to mind, and I can remember one day specifically where Vinny was getting physical therapy and I was waiting for him in the car, and I had these feelings of like questioning myself, like, am I depressed? Am I dealing with depression? Like, what is this? And I would talk to my husband about it. He's like, no, you're not, because he's had it before. He's like, this isn't what it is, but I guess it's different with everybody anyways. But that's kind of what led me to this place, and trying to figure out this whole transition and my emotions and everything as well. And through all these conversations and these things, and when I would share my struggles, my psychiatrist started sharing about, the possibility of me having ADHD, but it was like,
Faint.
share it here, share it there, and then
have
you
you
would end
ever
up
crossed your
talking.
mind before this? Okay.
No, because it's exactly what you said in the beginning. To me, it was like ADHD was associated to like kids in school that can't sit still, and it's like I never,
Right.
never. So then I started Charisma,
which is theology seminary.
and I was having a very hard time concentrating.
Okay. This is you in Brazil?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when I went to the psychiatrist to see if there was anything that I could take, whatever. And as I mentioned, my difficulties with maintaining my focus, having a hard time concentrating, and like my mind, like I'm here and the content is interesting, but I'm here for like 5 seconds, and then 2 seconds later, I'm like, the fly is flying by, and I'm just like, and I'm like, oh wait, like,
what did they say again?
Yeah.
Right.
And then like 5 minutes later, my mind's just like, I'm thinking about something else that has absolutely nothing to do with this, but my mind would just like wander, and I just couldn't like sit still and take in, like, I couldn't take in the information, even though it was good, even though it was important. My mind just wasn't there. So what would help me sometimes is literally try to like type like word for word of everything that the professor was saying, but sometimes you can't really keep up. You know what I'm saying? So that's when the conversation went in a little bit deeper, and I started to take my first medication, which worked wonders for me at first.
Okay.
I remember the first day that I took it, I got to class and I was like, oh,
is this what normal looks like?
Literally. Yeah. Because it's like, I'm sure you've seen, and probably whoever's watching has also seen, like the memes or like the videos that go on the internet about having a million tabs open in your mind and you don't know which one the music is coming from.
Yeah.
That's my mind 24 hours a day. So it's like, I do not know what it is to have silence, like, in my mind. Like, it's just constantly like going.
Your mind is
Restless.
But you didn't know this.
No.
You thought this was just normal all the time.
And then when I took the medication and I sat down and there was silence and I could hear, wow, this is life changing.
Wow.
Yeah, because then I didn't have all of these things tugging at my attention, and I could actually
concentrate.
Oh
my goodness.
Yeah.
I
Um,
wonder if the whole world's like that on some level. Because we have so much, everything is so overstimulating now. We have
yeah.
so many things going off at the same time.
I definitely think like social media, cell phones, like how the easy access that we have to all this information definitely aggravates it. And I think that's why we've seen such a surge of people with anxiety and ADHD, no doubt about it. But
But can I ask you a question? And this is going to happen a lot, but I'll guide you.
mhm,
Before even marriage, your life with Christ,
yeah,
because our intention here is always to try to bring kingdom into the conversation. How was your prayer life or your devotional life without the diagnosis? Was it difficult?
yeah, always up and down, and I could never understand why. I just thought I I don't know because like I think back now and it's hard in some circumstances to kind of separate like what I know now from what I didn't necessarily know then.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, so I remember I would try things till like I was like, I need to be constant. Like I need to like what's going on. Like I need to get this down. Like why isn't it working? Why do I start and stop, start and
Mm-hmm.
stop, start and stop? So I did. I had like my prayer list, and I was like, I need to put this somewhere that there's no way I'm not gonna see it. So I had my little nightstand and I taped a piece of paper with the names of the people that I needed to pray for on that nightstand. So obviously, I'm going to lay down on my bed every night. I'm going to look at it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to see it. I'm going to pray. So it's like my entire life, I've been trying to find ways to stay consistent in every area of my life, but especially
In your prayer
in
life.
my prayer life and in my walk with Jesus. Because my mind races all the time and there's a million things pulling my attention. It's it's almost like I'm in like this automatic mode all day. I'm not like manually shifting gears and aware of what I'm doing, where I'm going, when I'm doing it. I'm just on like go, 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 go. And then when I notice it, it's nighttime and I haven't spent time with the Lord because I'm just going and I'm just doing. And I'm just literally following wherever my brain leads.
Wow.
And sometimes it's to something productive. Most of the times it's avoiding the task that I need to do because my mind is already so overwhelmed that I don't want to deal with it physically. So I just want to sit on the couch and doom scroll, which I know isn't going to take me anywhere, but in that moment, it like soothes me,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And the thing with ADHD is it's all in here. So a lot of times people don't know you're actually dealing with it. People don't know that you're
You look
struggling with it.
perfectly fine.
And we talked about this too about like the masking.
Mm-hmm.
Before I got married, especially before I had kids, I had a very easy time fitting in
Mm-hmm.
to how things should be. Um, because it was just me, it depended just on me. Like
Right.
my husband traveled a lot, so I could reorganize things. Um, so like even after knowing I had it, I still lived a couple of years just dealing with it without medication because just going back a little bit, I started medication at Carisma,
Okay.
but then I moved back to the US.
Right.
And when I got here, I stopped taking the medication. At first, we didn't have insurance or anything like that. So I had a couple of years where I just no longer treated it and honestly kind of just forgot about it because I just kind of went back to like, this is how I've always been.
Autopilot.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But then my daughter was born. And that's when, in the best possible way, everything went off road. Like sideways. Like I literally have lost any and all control of anything that I thought I had control over.
Right.
I no longer have control over my time. I no longer have control over what I want to do or how I want to do it. Like, especially in the beginning, like I'm living for this little human that can absolutely like do nothing apart from
You.
me.
Right.
And that's when things got really, really hard. Because up until she was born, I was 32.
Okay.
I was able to cope. I was able to manage in my own way,
Mm-hmm.
but I was able to survive.
Mm-hmm.
After she was born, I didn't feel like I could get a grip on anything anymore. If my life with the Lord was already up and down, not my life with the Lord, but like my devotional
Your
time.
devotional time.
Yes. My devotional time was already like up and down. Now it was nearly non-existent, and then the guilt starts piling up. And I would try to remind myself of a conversation that I had right when I got married with Nivea Soares.
Uh-huh.
Because when I got married, she had just had her twins. And we went to her house one day for dinner, and she was sharing about her struggles in this area, not in ADHD, but in having children, small children who depended on her, and how she no longer had the time with the Lord that she used to have before. And how the Lord spoke to her about how what he had for her in that season was to tend for and take care of her children. That was her devotional time.
Wow.
And not necessarily going into a room, closing the door, reading the Bible, spending an hour praying.
Wow.
What the Lord wanted from her in that time, the way she praised him, the way she worshiped him, the way she had communion with him in that time, was taking care of her children.
So I'm going to pause right there because I'm feeling something really strong. I think I've shared it in some other episodes, but not in depth. I was always, and you know this because you know me, I always was one of those go-getters. I was always out of the house, mission, building, CEO, feeling useful and important. And in those last 2 years of my life, the Lord says, I want you to go back home. And that was really hard for me, but he kind of stripped everything from me. And I shared this with someone else. The only thing left was my identity. And that's why I never felt destroyed, because I always knew who I was in the Lord. That was always something strong that I had, was my identity in him. But he stripped all titles, and he stripped all admiration and all applauses and all usefulness and all audience. It was me and the Lord. And I didn't know what to do. I was in a room with him for hours, in my prayer closet for hours. And I started fasting in a very aggressive way because I needed responses for my business. And this is how Voice the Kingdom was born. And then once Voice the Kingdom was born and I felt like I was in the right path, I remember I was fasting for 12 days just on water. 12 days just water. It was my first longest prolonged fast, just water. And I'm expecting a response. And the response was not what I wanted. There was no yes or no that I wanted. I just wanted a direction. So yes was going to be hard, and so was no. But I just needed to know left or right. Whichever one you want me to go, I'll go. Mm-hmm. No was going to be extremely hard because I would have to file for bankruptcy, close the business, fire everyone, and then now deal with this bankruptcy. And yes was still going to be hard because there was no way forward. It was literally part the waters, walk across the Red Sea. I didn't know how to part the waters. So yes was going to be hard, and so was no. And I'm waiting for this response from the Lord. 12 days, just water. Me in my house and my team. My team is doing this with me. And the Lord turns to me. He goes, left drawer by the refrigerator. Go clean it out. And I heard it like it was like we're talking right here. And I say, Lord, left drawer, clean it out. And I go and I pull up the drawer and I'm thinking, there's going to be a response in there.
I'm going to find a check.
And it's like all these papers that are 10, 12 years old from the day I moved into this house. Papers that of like refrigerators that I don't have anymore, TVs that I don't have anymore, all these things that I bought manuals for, they're in there. He goes, clean it out, organize your drawer. And I'm like, I'm hungry. And you're telling me to clean a drawer. And he started showing me the beauty in worshiping and praising him through the care of my house. Because I was never a woman who cared for her house. And he started teaching me, and the art of cleaning was a form of worship in a place I've never worshiped before.
Mm-hmm.
I've spent hours, I've fasted, I've danced, I've spoken in tongues for hours, I've did anything you could, I've climbed mountains, but the Lord wanted me to worship in the most simple act of cleaning and caring for my home. So that resonated so strongly, because sometimes we have this idea of what worship should be.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has to be reading the Bible for hours. I have to be on my knees. I have to be praying, and I have to be fasting. And there's worship in taking care of someone or cleaning something he gave you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So going back to you having this conversation with her because you lost control of your life when you had your baby.
Yeah. So like I would keep reminding, I remember I even sent her a message. I was like, that conversation that we had years ago, it's literally what helps me like somewhat maintain my sanity and know that it's okay, and but at the same time, like I would still struggle because I like I've had several moments like putting my daughter to sleep where I would just sing worship music to the Lord, like with her, and I would cry, and I know God's there.
Yeah.
I know. But and ADHD is still something that I'm learning about, even though I've been diagnosed for a little while. We talked about this as well. So I'm still understanding things about it and how it affects me and how, it touches all the areas of my life. But there is a need, even though it's funny, even though it's like chaotic in here,
Mm-hmm.
and the chaos in here sometimes not, a lot of times is shown on the outside.
Yeah.
There is a need and a desire for structure, for routine, for organization, because I thrive in that.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I know I don't need that to worship, or I don't need to have my devotional time in a specific way every day, right? A part of me still feels the need for it, so that I feel like I have successfully done it. Does that make sense?
Totally. More than you know.
Yeah. So like I'm in this battle of I have my daughter in my arms, and this is also worship, but I haven't sat down to read my Bible, or like I haven't, I don't know, like prayed and been intentional about my prayer life, and had my time of repentance, or like whatever it is. So everything else like wasn't valid, because like that didn't happen.
Wow.
You
And
know.
you carry that.
Yes. And it's still a struggle to this day in some senses, because I know the Lord doesn't expect this from me, but it's something that I really am hard on myself for. And I try things, like I created my prayer board when we moved into this house. I was like, things are going to be different. I don't have a full-time job anymore. I'm going to have more time on my hands. I'm just going to be alone with my daughter all day. How hard could that be? sweet illusion. So, the guest room and my office have always been in the same room, even in our house in Orlando, but I didn't have like a prayer closet. So I was like, this closet is going to be my prayer closet, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to have that time. And if I've had that time 3 days since I moved into this house in June of last year, it's been a lot. It's mostly just been me in the go of my day. Like, Lord, help me be different. Like, help me change, help me get a grip on things, help me see you in like the ordinary things that I do in life. And sometimes it's in cleaning. And I found that when I take time to clean, do the dishes whenever my dishwasher is full and I have to manually wash dishes, I try to be intentional and shifting that moment into something that seems heavy or like a burden, right? Because let's not forget, my mind is on overload. So I'm constantly drained and like feeling exhausted because my mind doesn't stop and there's a million things tugging at me. And then on top of that, I'm being hard on myself because I want to get things done, but I don't necessarily get them done like I would like to, or when I would like to, or when other people expect me to. So doing sometimes small things that shouldn't be burdensome, they feel burdensome. And I remember a couple of weeks ago when I was washing the dishes, I was like, you know what, Lord, I'm going to be intentional about this time. And instead of allowing this to simply just feel burdensome and thinking like, I really wish I wasn't doing this, like I just want to be in bed, like I'm so tired, I want to go to sleep. Thank you that I have dishes to wash. Like, thank you so much that I'm healthy. I can be standing here right now, like using my hands, my arms to wash these dishes. Thank you that I have a home to take care of. Thank you that I have a family.
Yeah.
Like, thank you that I can see, my eyes work perfectly. Thank you that I have food to feed my family. Thank you that I have clothes that I get to wash. It's not like I have to wash. I get to wash clothes. Thank you. Like, how many people don't have a washing machine?
Yeah.
I don't even wash the clothes. I might be mad that I got to do laundry sometimes, but I'm not even the one doing the laundry. You know what I'm saying? But we've gotten so used to having all of these things that the things that aren't really work, like I'm not doing the heavy labor, I'm not doing the heavy lifting. Like simply putting the clothes in the washer feels like so much. Oh my God. But a few years back, my grandma was in the cisterna pulling water out and washing everything with her bare hands, piece by piece, and hanging it to dry, piece by piece. Like, I don't know what that is. I've always had, like in New York, we didn't have a washer and a dryer in our house, but we've always had laundromats close by where we take our clothes, we put it in the washer, we leave. That's it.
Yeah.
Like it's really not that hard. And we've made a big deal out of nothing really because we're spoiled.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
And then we created this standard that you need to live by. This laundry room with this folding system, this way. And now we have all these things that we watch, and we're in other people's homes, which we don't even know if it's true half the time.
Yeah.
We could only see a fraction or just a corner, and it looks so perfect. And we are burdened by, I don't have that structure and I don't have that organizing system, and I can't do it like her, and she makes it look so easy and I can't. And then you're just heavy with this.
Yeah.
And what you said is so beautiful because it's so true. I recently shifted. I don't think I've known myself as a complainer. I don't think I've always, I just, part of my characteristic is I've always been very optimistic, but I've lacked intentionality. I was, for a long time, I lived on autopilot. And lately I've been in that area of like, thank you. Show me how to steward this, because it's not only money. We've learned how to steward money or talk about the stewardship of money, but time, clothes, cleaning, loving, those are all things we need to learn how to steward. And what you said just really touched me because I've been in that season in my life. And the struggles that you had or have while you're talking, what I feel is it reminded me of Paul when he prayed for the Lord to remove
The thorn.
And we don't know, none of us know, and the theologians will go into what they thought it was. But as you were speaking, I almost saw that. I almost saw like this struggle makes you dependent of him 100%, because I'm looking from the outside in, okay? And I know it's different. You don't see a lot of things that I see. You don't see the qualities that I see. And even though you may not feel like you're in control, I see such a beautiful structure in your life. It might not be what you want, but from the outside looking in, and especially being here, I see such a beautiful structure. And I think that it took us almost 45 minutes to set up because you wanted the lighting and the thing,
which it's still not.
And you
where I would like
measured
it to be.
the floor to see if it, And I think that you ask so much of yourself that if all of those things, this is what I see, if all of those things were in the right place, you wouldn't depend on God the way you do. And I think that's what creates such a beautiful, because sometimes I look at a woman and I say, I admire the relationship she has with God. And I see that in you. I admire the relationship you have with God. The dependency of knowing who he is. When you speak of him, you don't speak of a God in the Bible. You don't speak of a God that is written about. You speak of a God you walk with. I can hear it. I see it. And I look for that in certain people. And when you speak of him, you speak of someone you know intimately. And I don't think you would know him at that level if it wasn't for this pain.
Yeah.
Because you depend on him so much. And he guides you. It might not in your life be what you want it to be. But from the outside looking in, and you're not even trying because we're friends and you're like, yeah, this is what we have for today. So, like you're not trying at all. With me, at least, you're not. And I feel that, and I feel comfortable that way because I don't feel like you're treating me as something special. I feel special, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that creates that relationship. And that's the base. I think that when we look to get married, we're not looking for someone to complete us, but we're looking to build something with someone. We're looking to have a relationship. And I sometimes, God reveals himself in many different ways. And I see that as my children are older and I talk about God with them. I see that in Brian's life and Olivia's life. And God is revealing himself to them in a way that is different, that he's revealing himself to me. And this season, he's revealing himself to me in a different way. But what I see in your life is like, if you had all this structured in place, you would check all the boxes and you wouldn't need him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your story is so powerful because as you're speaking, I'm really diagnosing myself. I'm like, wait, is my mind actually ever gone silent? Like, I'm listening to you, I'm like, I'm a little concerned. I need to go check in with the physician when I get back home. But I know it's not perfect, and we're not going to end on perfect. And that's what I love about this. What are you doing today as you've moved again? And now you went from Brazil to Orlando. You moved a few times. and then now you're in Texas. God brought you here. And now, and it's funny, as you see, God keeps building into your life. First you were single, then you're married, then you were married and moved to a different continent, and then you were married and moved back, then you bought your home, and then you built a family, and now you got that family transitioned into Texas, to a land that you do not know anyone. And God is just, as you see, he's just putting more responsibility. Now you're not only a pastor's wife, you're a pastor yourself of a local church. And I know that's new, and I know you don't have answers for that. We don't need to get into that. That can be another episode for another day.
Okay.
And I think that he's testing you in all of these areas. But what system, and I know you don't have the full answer for this, but what system do you think is kind of working for you in this season of your life? What tools are you using to deal with the responsibilities of wife, mother, pastor, and of course self? Because sometimes we have so much work just within ourselves.
Yeah. That is a great question.
You don't need to have the answer for that.
I don't think I have a system yet.
Okay.
I have been reading books. So it's funny because that's another thing. Like, Lord, can I just start and finish a book? I was like, okay, I'm going to read a book on marriage. And then my ADHD goes berserk. And I'm like looking for content on ADHD. And I'm like, oh, this book sounds interesting. Okay, I'm going to put the marriage book aside. Let me start reading this. And then I have a struggle in my marriage, and I'm like, maybe I should go read that book again. And then I pick up that, and then I'm like, I'm reading 3 books at the same time, and I'm like, what am I reading? What's going on? I can't really get a grip on anything. I'm like, where do I go? What do I do? But I think that for me to be able to create a system that works for me, that allows me to thrive in the areas, in all areas of my life, but especially in like what the Lord has called me to do, that allows me to thrive as a mother, as a wife, as a pastor. I need to understand about myself.
Wow.
I know who I am in the Lord, but only now at 30, how old am I? 36.
Okay. Don't ask me how old I am. I have to do the math.
Only now at 36 am I learning about myself, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. We can have a whole other episode of who I am at 39, about to be 40.
I'm finally understanding that a lot of things that I've dealt with and struggled with in my life and continue to deal with and struggle with, they have a why.
Yeah.
They're not
just random.
Yeah. So for me, it's like I have to start at the root, right? Like the foundation needs to make sense so that I can build on it.
Wow, that's really powerful.
So I need to learn more about ADHD right now. And that's what I've been doing. I'm reading a book. I have a book about the effects of ADHD on marriage.
Really?
When one partner has ADHD and the other doesn't.
You sure he doesn't have ADHD?
I'm pretty sure he does, but since he's in denial, we're just gonna
that's a conversation for another day.
Either ADHD or something else. Yeah, he has something. Love you. And I just started a book on like ADHD and like the organization of the home and your life.
I would love just to see these.
First chapter, like, wow, how did I never think of this? Like, she just talks about how somebody with ADHD needs efficiency. So, for example, kitchen cupboard organization. If you have one thing behind the other where you want to get something and you have to take everything out of the cupboard to get something that's like in the back of the cupboard, that's a lot of work for somebody with ADHD. You're not going to do that. So you need to organize things in a way where easy access, grab and go. Like no shuffling around, no moving things around, no stacking, no nothing, because it's the little things, the little, like the tiny little, like extra effort.
Really?
That will be like, oh, I'm just going to do that later.
It's that intense.
It's that intense.
And people that don't understand it can be so indifferent to it that
just think you're lazy.
They just think you're lazy.
But it's not.
We need to have a whole series about ADHD.
It's not. It's really not. It's not laziness. Sometimes I'll just look at my house and like the kitchen counter just like full of things, and I'll just look at it and I'll be like, where do I start? What do I do? So she also talks about everything having a home. So having like a box or like a home, a plate for everything. So like when you get home, you don't just leave your keys on top of the counter. You know your keys have a home. They have a little plate that it goes on. Like everything needs to have a place. I haven't started it yet. I'm just reading about it to learn about it. But it's like as you read it, just makes sense. I'm like, why did I never think of this before? You know, because sometimes it's like you look at the problem. I have a very easy time sometimes helping solve someone else's problems. But sometimes I'll look at my kitchen counter and I can't solve that problem. Like it's so simple, but like,
wow,
you know? But so right now, like the season of life that I'm in is trying to learn about this gift that God has given me.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a gift. Oh my God, it's a gift. And so many people don't understand it.
Yeah. And that's something that I've been
Oh my God, it's a gift. My mind was just blown. It's a gift.
Yeah.
Kingdom and the Gift of ADHD. That's going to be the title. It's a gift, V.
Yeah.
And we don't get it.
No.
And the gift sometimes feels like a burden.
Yeah.
When we don't understand.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I've just been trying to figure myself out and ask the Lord, like, how can I glorify you through my struggles in this area?
I love that so much.
Like, I really struggle with this, but it's not here randomly. Like, you gave me it. So how can I use it to bring you glory? And it's like, that's where my heart is, but don't get me wrong, in my day-to-day, it's really hard.
No, I know.
It's really hard because I'm constantly like being hard on myself, right? And I think that actually hinders, how am I going to say this? I know the Lord is near, right? But because I'm so hard on myself, and a lot of times I'm not doing things in the way that I think they should be done. It's as if the Lord is standing right in front of me, but I refuse to accept that He's there because I'm not doing a good enough job to sit and have a relationship with Him. So I'm like constantly like, Jesus, please help me get better at my relationship with you. Please help me love you more. Help me love your word. Help me love spending time in your word. But at the end of the day, another day has gone by and I haven't taken the time to sit and read my Bible. A lot of times I realize that and I pick up my Bible when I'm in bed and I read it just because I want to love the word more. So I'm like, I'm going to read this right now, even if I'm exhausted and I don't feel like it, so that one day, hopefully, the desire to read it will be stronger in me than me just knowing that I have to read it because my life literally depends on this, right? But because I'm not doing things like the cookie cutter way and sitting at my desk like I dream of doing and studying and reading and being there for hours and having time with the Lord and hearing the Lord and just crying my eyes out, it's as if
you don't feel like you're doing it the right way.
yeah,
but
there is no right way. And it's funny because as I'm saying that, the Lord is reminding me of, I was living in Brazil. We were at church. I think it was a conference. And I was exhausted. Oh my God, I was so tired. And I love worship. Like, that's my favorite part of service. So normally I'm like, I'm all in, you know? And this day I was like, I just sat down. I was just like rocking back and forth. And I was like, Lord, I'm so sorry. And I was just like, I was being so hard on myself. And I was just like, Jesus, I'm so sorry. Like, just can't. Like, I don't have strength. I don't have energy. Like, I'm so tired. I just can't. I can't worship you right now. And like, as I'm sitting down, having this conversation, the Lord just says, who says you're not worshiping me? Like, why do I have to be standing with my arms lifted to be worshiping? I was sitting down, just rocking in the seat, just like, and the Lord was receiving that as worship. So it's like so many times, like I'm saying these things and it's like, okay, do you not get it? Like the Lord has already said to you, like there isn't like a manual, right?
To worship.
I mean,
the
Lord teaches us some things in the Bible about worship.
The first time worship was mentioned, Abraham was going to sacrifice his son. So who are we to say it needs to be a flag or hands raised up? Yes, these are forms of worship, but it's so, I don't know if this is, you're understanding this as you're saying it out loud. I don't know if this is literally coming to you as you're saying this out loud, where God is telling you he's pleased with you.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's almost like, in theory, because I know the Lord doesn't expect the things that I'm hard on myself for. In theory, I know everything is okay. But in my heart,
because you always want to give him the best,
and in my mind, it's still not, it didn't sink in yet. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's kind of like the idea, just so people grasp it, the idea of like knowing my parent, like the God of my parents, not like my God. I know my God, but there are certain aspects, and I think it's also just like the limitation, like our human limitation of, if somebody was like, if that's the relationship that somebody was trying to have with me, I ain't having it. You know what I'm saying? So I think sometimes it's still me trying to like measure God by my ruler. Um, where I know in theory, but it's a little too good to be true. So like let's just keep trying harder, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know if that answered the question.
Yes, that answered more than what I asked. And I love that. I don't know if you noticed it just now that it was a gift, or did you always know?
I think right now it hit a little bit differently.
I love that.
I've heard some people, they didn't use the word gift, but I don't remember exactly what term the person used, but it was just it's like a special trait, like a special character, special needs. But I think now the whole idea of a gift definitely hit differently. I've never referred to me having ADHD as a gift before. That was the first time.
Yeah, I see it as a gift.
Yeah.
Not because you said it, but as you were describing it, I started categorizing things in my life, understanding even the way I think and the way I feel like I need structure. And then I started, because it's because of the work I'm in. I'm blessed to have such a beautiful team in several areas of what I do. And I started categorizing people, and I was like, it's a gift, and how they structure things. And one is so different from the other. And how this thing that could burden you could be used as a gift. Doesn't mean it's not going to cost you.
Yeah.
Our gifts have a cost, and you need to be able to manage it well. So maybe the next time we talk, or when you start your own podcast, you can talk about.
I'm gonna have a podcast. Okay.
I bless you and I curse you with that.
Lord.
It could be the structure of this. And when we talk about structure, it doesn't mean A, B, C, box 1, 2, 3, but how you're dealing with certain things in a different season of your life. And it's real, and you see it now. I think as of today, I'm going to be bold enough to say, I think as of today, you're going to see things differently.
Amen.
I really think that as of today, it's not going to be like, oh, this is really killing me because I have ADHD. You're going to learn how to steward that.
Amen.
We were just talking about stewardship in the beginning. You're going to learn how to steward that in a way that is going to work in your favor. And usually people say that a lot, right? Even in the world outside of the Christian lingo, it's like your biggest pain is really a platform, is your biggest gift. And I really see that because so many people struggle with all these letters in the alphabet because now there's so many issues in the world and we're labeling them as issues. But if we're made in his image, these are gifts that we don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many geniuses out there, and then we label them with autism, right? Do we know that we've been studying this and we know that there's a spectrum and all of us are somewhere on the spectrum, but then we're so easily to point out the person being different and we ignore the gift that there is in their life. And there's so many gifted people that we just label them and then they're not gifted, they're special.
Right.
Right? And I love this because I think this opens a whole new door. Actually, the door was already there. It just opens it to a whole new world that you're going to explore and you're going to expose. And I'm really excited to see what the Lord's going to do. The books that are going to come out, the courses that are going to come out, the events that are going to come out, the talks that are going to come out of this. So thank you. Thank you for being so bold and courageous to talking about and being so vulnerable. Because the world now is so cookie cutter, so perfect.
Yeah.
Look at my life. And you can see it in like 30 seconds and you're perfect. And that's not really how the world is. And I thank you for, and I know you're someone who does not want to be in the spotlight, but you have to be. Thank you. I love you. I love your life.
Zoom in on the face.
I'm pretty sure we're going to have you on Voice the Kingdom many times, not only as a guest, but as a host. This is a platform that you are more than welcome to use to discuss whatever you think that you need to discuss, because you are a woman of the kingdom and we need more women like you. And it was such a pleasure. Thank you. I love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. God bless you.